Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you, everybody? How are you all?
Alhamdulillah.
Inshallah, today we learn about if statement, little more about nested if, and how we can use Boolean data type. And I'll introduce some of the predefined functions or libraries in both of the programming languages, C++ and Python. So this is one of the program that I would like you to do it so that we get a good idea about using if Boolean data type in our programs. Then I'll introduce some of the predefined functions or libraries in both of the programming languages, C++ and Python. So let us try to understand this problem, how we can solve this. This is a problem which is showing that there are so many scales of pH. You know that pH is one, it's kind of a reading which helps us to understand the nature of a liquid, nature of a water, or nature of any of the liquid that we have. Based on pH, the liquids are categorized as neutral, acidic, or basic. You know about this, right? We have learned it in our chemistry during our schools. So if the pH is equals to 7, then that will be considered as neutral water. And if the pH is greater than 7, then it's considered as basic, or we say alkaline. And if it's less than 7, it can be acidic or more acidic. So we can see the scales here. You know, in every scenario, you need to understand that how you can solve this problem and how you can categorize it as simple as you can. So when we see here, this is 7. It shows that it's a neutral water. It's good water. And when the reading goes on, then it's becoming acidic or something like this. So we will categorize this problem as in this way. If the pH is very less, if it's less than 3, then we'll say it as very acidic. And if the pH is between 3 and 7, then we'll consider it as acidic. If it's 7, then it's neutral, and above 7 would be considered as alkaline. So let us try to write this program in Python. What we do is we just first I'll try to write an if statement. We know that how we can write an if statement. Before that, let us take some value from the user. We need to take the value of pH. We want to identify that what is the type of the liquid that's that's there with us. So let us take the solution. Let me call it as a solution. And I take the input pH value. Okay, input, I ask enter the pH value of the solution. Okay, and the value that I am asking, what is the type of the value that we are asking to the user? pH is a, what's the data type? What's the data type of pH?
Integer.
Yes, integer. So sometimes the pH can also be in decimals. So I would like to take it as a float. Okay. And once I have taken this pH value of the solution, what I have to do, how is the range, in which range is this pH value? Okay, for that, what I'll do, if the solution pH value is greater than 7. Okay, then I would like to print something. Okay, print. If it's greater than 7, what we have categorized? If it is greater than 7?
Alkaline.
Yeah.
Alkaline.
Yeah, if it's greater than 7, it's alkaline. Okay, and in this if statement, I am missing something. What I am missing? In the syntax, in terms of syntax, I am talking about.
Brackets.
Brackets, I have already kept the brackets. Okay.
Print statement should have
The this
You mean the commas, inverted commas, quotations you are talking about?
yeah.
Okay, I have included the quotation.
Quotations, double quotations.
Okay, I can keep quotation single or double. That's that will not make any difference. Okay, what I am missing? Something I am missing. Okay, let me run. You can identify it from here after I run the program. Okay, it shows that
colon.
line 10. It shows some error at line 10. This is the line 10. Yeah, here the colon that we have.
Colon.
Okay, the Python is really very interactive and understandable language. It helps you to identify where you had made the mistake. When we did a mistake here, it's really showing us that at the line 10 you are making some mistake, and still it's saying something. Indentation error. What does that mean? Indentation.
there should be a space between print and before that.
Okay. After the colon, when I enter this, it will come exactly after some spacing. If it's an if statement, always remember, if you are writing an if statement and after the colon, you press enter, then it will be having some space. Whereas when you are writing only print statement without any if, then that print has to be from the starting point. It should not have any spaces or tab. If you keep the tab or spaces here, then it will give you indentation error. The same wise, if you not keep any space here, then that will give you indentation error. Okay, that's fine. What I do, I will try to keep the spaces like this by my own self. Will it accept? No, it will not accept. So what you have to always do is after this colon, you have to press enter. Then it will take automatically as many spaces as much of it requires. It will take that much. Okay. Yeah. What we got is it's asking us to enter the pH value of the solution. Okay. Let me write 6. What happened? Nothing happened because the range that I gave is only above 7. Okay, I'll write another if statement which will say if the solution is less than 7 or it's less than 3. I'll say less than 3. Then I have to print it. Print very acidic. Okay. Okay, now I write 2 and it says very acidic. Now, I'll try to write another if statement. So what we are missing? We are missing the values from between 3 to 6, right? If, or else I'll keep it here equals, it will take 3 also and it will take 7 also. Still what we are missing? Less than 3, yeah. And we are missing in between this. So what I'll do, solution is greater than 3. You know what's the purpose of and? You know, right? solution, solution is less than 7. Do you understand the purpose of AND here now? What's AND is doing?
Yes.
AND is checking if this is right and this is right. If you remember, in C++, what we do in C++, how we write AND? Can someone?
Ampersand.
Yes,
Ampersand.
we write ampersand in C++. The same way you can write the same program using these symbols. I'll also share that with you, inshallah. So this is, we are trying to, and now I keep the colon, and now I print that this is acidic. Acidic. Good. Now I try to run this program, and I give the value 5, and it says acidic. So we have covered all the numbers in this. So can we write this program with another way? Okay, yes, we can write the program in another way too. So this if, how many if we have? If. Okay, so this is called as ladder if. Okay, and the another way that I am going to show you is nested if. What I'll do is, firstly, I'll start with some very basic condition. So I'll start with this condition. For example, we'll start from 1. Okay. If the solution is less than or equal to 3, then please print that it's very acidic. Okay. I'm starting it in this. Okay. After this, what I do is I'll write an else statement. I am trying you to understand the way that we write an else if, nested if statements in Python. Okay. And I write else. Then from that, what I am doing, solution greater than. Okay. First, we'll try to understand with these two things, and then we'll move forward. There is indentation error where it's at the line 13. Okay. What I do is, okay. Happening. Okay, another indentation error because we have not. Okay. Okay. I will go back here. This is very common in Python. We'll get so many indentation errors. Okay, okay, no problem. Okay, let me come again with this problem in another tab, because, okay. Yeah. I'll keep it, take it here and give it a enter here. And then we'll try to run this program. And run this. There is some kind of problem at me. Okay, or else what I do is I'll just remove this. Instead of writing else and if, okay, it's executed now. Fine. Okay, I'll give the answer 5. Won't take it. So until that executes, let us move forward. So here what we have is, what we are doing, firstly, we are giving if statement, and after that if statement, we are checking if the first condition is done, then okay. If not, we'll go to the next condition. If first condition is satisfied, then the console goes to the first condition. If not, it will check the other condition, which is else if, and this is the range, and finally it will check this. So can someone tell me what is the difference between this nested if and the ladder if? Which one will be easier and which one will give you faster response?
The second one will give the faster response because the probability for executing the line is very less.
How can you tell me?
For example, if you give a number 3,
Okay.
number 2, then it will finish it in the first statement itself.
Okay.
If you use an old one, if you use an old program,
Okay.
till the last line, it has to be waited.
Very good, mashallah. You understood it very correctly. Okay, very good, mashallah. So the way that we are writing here, can you understand? If this is okay, then just print and then quit the program. If this is not happening, then only go to the other thing. If this is happening, just be here and print this and then exit the program. Okay? And this program, what it will do, you know, every if statement is checked. Here in this program, every if statement is checked. How every if statement is checked? Yes, because there is no connection here. There is no connection. Firstly, what it will do, whatever the value that we have entered, it will check. If that value is less than 3, it will print. After printing, it will go again. Because the purpose of the console is to go down. Anyhow, it will go down. Then it will check this also. No, this is not true. Okay. And then it will go to this also. So always try to use nested if. That will save a lot of time in execution of your program. Okay. Do you understand? Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Answer that Abdul Arif gave us is absolutely correct. The nested if will take less time for execution. It will not check each and every statement that is written here. Now we'll go to one of the little complicated program to understand the usage of Boolean data type. You know what is meant by a leap year? Do you know what is meant by leap year? You know or not? Hello? Okay. What's a leap year? Leap year is a year which has 29 days in February. You know how frequently the leap year comes? Once in every 4 years. Yes, once in every 4 years the leap year comes. So if I want you to write a program that will identify leap year, what you will do? Identify leap year. How you will do it?
It should be divisible by 4.
If I divide by if I do modular divided by 4 and the value is 0 mean, then I can consider that the year is a leap year.
You mean to say that the number which is divisible by 4, it will be a leap year. Okay, you want to say that if the year entered divided by 4 and it gives the remainder 0, then that should be considered as a leap year, isn't it?
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. 200, okay, 2000. Is 2000 a leap year?
Yes.
Okay. So I want to say that some of them are century years. You know century year, what is meant by century year? A year which has 100 in it, which is divisible by 100. Okay. There are some of the century years which are not leap years, even they are divisible by 4. Some of the century years which are divisible by 4 but not leap years. Did you get my point, what I'm saying? For example, I'll take this example, 1700 and 2100. Okay, 2100, are they divisible by 4? Yes, 2100 is divisible by 4, but it's not a leap year, you know. So there is one more condition for those years which are divisible by 4 and which are century years. What we need to check is if these years are divisible by 100 also. Okay, what we need to check here, for the century years, they have to be divisible by 4 and also they have to be divisible by 100. So in this case, hello, why I feel you are so silent?
No, from my nothing.
Okay, so let me check again to 2100 if it is a leap year or not. I took it randomly, but if you verify any of the century year which is only divisible by 4 and not divisible by 100, that will not be a leap year. A century year which is divisible by 4 and divisible by 100, then only it will be a leap year. Okay, here it should be century year. Got my point? Any year which is not century year. This one is for not century year. And this one is for century year. So this is the difference. How can we write a program for this thing? How can we write a program for this thing? So let us write a program for this firstly in C++ and then we will write in Python too. So, okay. Let me write it on the C++ first, and then we'll go to, this has taken C. I want C++. This online debugger tool, it's giving so much problem to me. Is it same with you? Whenever I'm trying to use C++, it always gives me C program here. Try to change it. Yeah, it's same for you too, right? Okay.
Yes.
Because we don't have, all of us don't have a common platform to work on. That's why I have choose this. See, it's giving me compilation fail due to the errors. It's main CPP and it's not taking a CPP. Okay, let me open any one of your programs who submitted the homework in C++. That will help me. Okay, until the time it opens, I'll try to explain you what we are doing in this program is firstly we are trying the user to enter an year. Okay, After the year has been entered, what we'll check, if that year is divisible by 4, then that has to be a leap year. Okay. I hope it has opened. I'll explain you here itself, or else just without execution I'll write it here. That will help us to that will help us to understand in a better way. If we write the code here, the presentation is not very much readable for us to understand. So first we will ask the user to enter the year. Okay, you can execute all these programs after you go home. Okay, you are at home, but after we take this variable, I have not declared the variable, but I am reading the variable. After taking that, first what we will try to check is if the entered year is divisible by 4, and what we have to check, if it's divisible by 4, what does that mean? Should be equals to 0. Okay, if it's equals to 0, then firstly what we will print is, we will write cout, it's a leap year. Okay, leap year. After this, if it's not the case, I am writing the nested if, else cout, it's not leap. Okay, but we need to also check something. A year that is divisible by 4, it's a leap year. Okay, that's fine. But if it's a century year, what we need to do? If it's a century year, what we do is, if year is also divisible by 100, okay, if it's also divisible by 100, then it has to be considered as a leap year. Here, okay, here I am writing. Now it has to be a leap year. I shouldn't keep it here. If I keep it here after first condition check, then it will miss those years which are century years. That's why I don't have to keep it here. What I have to keep, where I have to keep it? Here. So try to understand that what we are doing. I'll try to simplify the coding for you. Okay, here we will not get any indentation errors in C++. So it will help us to easily understand. The first check is if it's divisible by 4. But if we write here after divisible by 4, we'll miss the century years. Okay, the century years will pass this condition. They will pass through this check, and then only it will be printed as a leap year. Okay, if it's not a century year, then what should be happen? What should be the answer? Here we have to write another else. Here we need to write another else, and we have to say, okay, if the year is divisible by 4 and it's not a century year, then that year is also a leap year. Did you get my point? What I'm saying, if it is divisible by 4 and it is a century year, then print leap year. Okay, if it's divisible by 4 and not a century year, then that is also a leap year. If any of the year does not pass through this check, through this whole check, then that will be considered as a not leap year. Do you have any questions here? Students, do you have any questions here?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, good. This program we can write in Python using same lines of code. What we do is we write if and we write colon here without without this thing. Without these things, then we'll write another if to check with another colon, and we'll try to print it here like this. Now, I'll try to give you another. Okay, you can try this. I'll share the presentation with you. I have written it a little bit different, but I have explained you in a different way, in a much easier way. Now, what I want is, I want to store whenever a number is divisible by 4 or a number is divisible by 100, I want to store all those things. I'll give you a very quick and good example. Another thing, we have asked the user to enter the year. Now what I do, okay, firstly what I'll say is divisible by 4. Okay, I'll write like this, divisible by 4. Year divisible by 4. If I could get this compiler quickly, then we can experience a very good thing of Boolean variables. I'll try again. Okay, I'll try to run this again, leave this page and get C++ console. It's not giving me C++ console. I'll try to go from here. Okay. Okay, new project and C++. Okay, no problem. I'll try to explain you here itself again. Okay, we'll take variable year, and we'll ask the user to enter some year. Let us take is 200. Okay, and then I'll initialize a variable which is called divisible by 4. This variable, what it has to store is the value that's getting after dividing that year by 4. So what will this variable will store? Either 0, right? If it's divisible by 4, then what it will store? 0. Okay, good. And I'll also check if this variable is divisible by 100. What I'll do is store it like this. What it will store, if it's really divisible, it will store 0. The next thing what I'll do is divisible by 400. So why I want this 400? I'll explain you there when we are using. Okay, divisible by 400. Okay, let me tell you something. It will give me 0. If it's divisible, it will give me 0 if it's divisible. Okay, tell me, if I declare this variable as bool, what does this mean? Which is the variable bool here? Which variable is bool? This divisible by 4, divisible by 100 and divisible by 400. These three variables are of Boolean type. If year is really divisible by 4, then that will give me value 0. If it's not divisible by 4, then what will be the value that it will store? So instead of waiting for the C++ compiler to run, let us do it in the Python. Okay, so what we'll do is try to enter the year. After year is entered, we have initialized the variables like divisible by 4, and what we have to check if the year is divisible by 4. Okay, and we will also check if the year is divisible by 100. Firstly, we'll try to print these things, then we can understand what's happening here. Okay, so what I do is print here. Yeah, Mehraj, that you told me we can use the compiler, C compiler, by using IOStream, but it's not allowing me to do that. Just now I have checked it. Sometimes it's allowing and sometimes it's not allowing. This online compiler is not very efficient. If it was a software or tool that we have installed in our laptop, then that will be very consistent and it will allow us to do anything that we want in a proper way. Okay, what I'll do is just print this variable. Okay, I'll try to print this variable divide here. First I'll calculate and print this one. Let us see what will it give me, and then we'll see what happens if we divide this one. Okay, let us enter 2000 as the year, and if you see, the value that it has given me is this one. Okay, it's 0. Good. Then it means that 2000 is being divided by 4. The same way, I'll keep this one and try to print the value here again. Print divided by 100. And let's see what it will give us. I'll give the answer. This one. Yeah. It gave me answers 0 and 0. It means the 1000 is also being divided by 4 and 100. We'll also take the variable divided by 400 and check if the entered year is being divided by 400. So now we are able to understand that which of the entered year is being divisible by these numbers 400, and now we have to see that if it is giving us 0. What I do is check if it's really giving me the value 0. Okay, when the remainder is 0, then only it means that it's being divided, right? I'll check if it's giving me 0 everywhere, and I'll try to run it. Okay, something like this, 60. See here, what's the output that you are able to see here? Are you able to understand the difference? When I'm checking this thing, that this year, is it really divisible by 4? It means, is it really equals to 0? It says yes, that's true. When I change the condition here, when I am trying to check it, it's becoming true or false. What does true or false means? It has become a Boolean type of variable. When I used to write it in C++, then I had to explicitly give it as bool. But here I'm not giving it. It's understanding it by implicitly. Okay, we got these values. So now I'll try to write the whole program in one line. How? Like this. I'll initialize a variable and say that, okay, the entered year, if it's divisible by 4 and it's not divisible by 100. Okay, what does this mean? In the first case, if it's not a century year but divisible by 4, then it means it's a leap year, as we understood, right? Got my point?
Yes.
Okay, very good. This is the first condition that we have. That is leap. Where is the another condition? When I said it's not divisible by 100, not divisible by 100, what is the opposite case of this one? Divisible by 100, right? So the not is taken in this bracket. The not will be taken in this bracket. Other than that, what we have, or divisible by 400. Sorry, how I wrote that variable? Di 400. Good. So what we are understanding with this, why I took 400 here? In the if else case, how we have written? If it's divisible by 4 and if it's divisible by 100. So what we told, it's a leap. If it's divisible by 4 and divisible by 100, then it's a leap. What does this mean? If it's divisible by 400, I want to write it in one word. That if it's divisible by 400, then it is a leap. For century years, they have to be divisible by 400. It means 4 and 100. For non-century years, these are the non-century years. The check for non-century years is here. Divisible by 100, not divisible by 100. Then that will be a leap year. Okay. Let me run this and see what's happening really. I don't know. Let's see. I want to print what is stored in leap. Okay. Let me run. I hope I have not done any indentation errors. Okay. Now I give the year 2000. Okay. Divisible by 4 is not defined. Yeah, it's not defined. I have given something else, right? Di and Di and Di. Very good. Yeah. Again, I give 2000. Yeah. What's there? The true. These three true are from the above. I'll remove this so we'll not get confused. Why the true, how many truths are being printed? I'll remove these three and now I'll try to print. Okay, 2000. What's giving me? It's giving me the true value. It means when I am trying to check if the 2000 is a leap year or not, it's passing through all the conditions and it successfully won all the conditions. It means it's giving us the true value. Now I'll use a if statement to print it as a leap year. So how can I use if statement with the Boolean values? Like this. If it's true, then print is a leap year. Very good. What is the next? Else print it's not a leap year. Okay. Yeah. Let's see if this runs successfully. Okay. Perfect. So when we are print leap, then okay. Okay, so when I am trying to print this print leap, then it's printing the value that is stored in this. Okay. After that, I am using this leap. It means the true value is stored in leap. And if it's true, then go here and print this. And if it's not true, then go here and print this. So this is the way we can run a program to identify if it's a leap year or not. So what we have used here, we have used Boolean variables, we have used and, logical and, not, or, we have used all these things. If we write this program with only if-else statements, it will take us so much long statements. Like I have shown you in C++, if else, so many. So this is the single line which is checking all the conditions that we have assumed. Okay, everybody understood this thing, right?
Yes.
Yes, alhamdulillah. So I'll try to give you some more thing about the predefined functions and libraries, and then we'll end our class, inshallah. Because of the disturbance and so many bad internet connections, our class is elongating, but please stay patient. We'll just end with this thing. Okay. Okay, so the predefined functions are the functions which are already defined, which know what they have to do. The predefined functions have their definitions in the libraries. In C++, we say predefined functions. In Python, we say libraries. Okay, so I'll introduce you some of the predefined functions such as power, absolute, square root, which are included in this library. Hash include CMath is a library that has a definitions of these three functions. Whereas Python, we can use power function without importing any libraries, and also the absolute functions without importing any libraries. Whereas when we are trying to use the square root function in Python, we need to include the library import math. And the function is used in this way, math.sqrt. So when the syntax is same in these three things, only for square root, for C++, we write sqrt of that number, and in Python, we write math.sqrt. And Python will also allow something else for doing power. For example, if it's a print statement and there is the first number and here is the second number and we keep 2 stars, then it will allow us to square that number, square the first number. Okay, so it's not acceptable in C++, but it's acceptable in Python. Okay. Yeah. And here, now we'll take example of power function. This is the first number and this is the second number. The A will be taken as the base and B will be taken as the power. Okay, it's same here. You know, absolute function is used to print the positive value of any number. When you give absolute of -10, it will give you 10. When you give square root of 4, it will give you value 2. Okay, if we want to easily get one example here. Okay, it's still running. Okay, let me give the answer. Okay, it gave me not a leap year. So I'll remove this program and try to print something. Print 3 comma power of 3 comma 2. Okay, 3 comma 2, and let's see what it will print me. It's 9. So are you able to understand what it's giving as the answer? 3 comma 2 means 3 power 2. 3 3s, it's 9. And let me give something else here. Absolute of -10. Okay. Let's see what's there here. It's 10. Okay. Good. Then we will try to use the square root function. What is the square root syntax? Math.sqrt of what shall we give? 4. Okay, there is another. Let me run this. What's happening? It says that the math function is not defined. What does this mean? the math function requires the library to be imported in our program. Okay, let me import it. What's the syntax of import? It's import. And what's the name of the library? It's math. And I am trying to run it. It gave me the answer 2. For C++, what you need to do is write everything as it is and also include #include. Here it's taking in the comment section, but you have to include CMath. Okay, CMath. In C, it's only math. In C++, it's CMath. But for all the functions that I have mentioned now, power, absolute, and square root, for all of them, you have to include CMath. Okay? For all of them, you have to include CMath. But for Python, you have to include only for square root function. Good. And now we'll try to solve a very simple program. Here it shows that it's a function. Y is a function which takes the value x plus 1 when x is greater than 0, and it takes the value this when x is less than or equal to 0. So firstly, what we'll do is give the ranges for x. It means first we'll check if the x given by the user it's greater than 0 or less than 0, and then we'll try to calculate this thing by using the power function. So let us take some input from the user. Let me just copy it from here itself. Stay patient, baby, please stay patient. Okay, I'll just copy it from here. What we did is we are trying to take the input value from the user. Okay. Okay. Yeah. And this value, it has to be checked using the if condition. If the value entered is less than 0. Right? Is this the condition? It's no greater. First is the greater than 0. It's greater than 0. And for that condition, what should be the calculation of y? This should be the calculation of y.
Plus y.
Plus 1. So y should be x plus 1. Good. Okay, and let us write the else condition like this. Else y should be, what should be the value of y else? Okay, you can understand it from here, right? So let me just copy paste the whole program from here. We are trying to use the power function. Okay, see here it's the indentation error, and here too. And I guess there will be another indentation error because I have to press enter after the if and else. Okay, and now I'll do this thing. Okay, enter the value of x. Okay, let me give 2, and what it will give me the answer? Okay, this print has been taken inside this else. So let me keep it separate. I'll not keep it inside the else. It was taking inside this. Okay. So I'll give something else. Okay, let me give -1 and see the answer. Y is, no, there is some problem. There is some problem. No, it's correct, right? -1 whole square. -1 whole square will be 1 plus of 2 into -1. It's -2. So the answer is -1. This is correct. Okay, I think I have to finish the class now, and we'll continue it in the next class with so many examples of these predefined functions. I'll give you some homeworks you have to do, inshallah, and then we'll continue our class later in the next class. Okay. Jazakumullahu khairan for being. Thank you. See you in the next class. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Like,